Hey guys, I'm MeeMee and I do all sorts. First of all, I would like to apologise for any kind of noise that you hear. There's traffic out the front, the washing machine's on later than usual because I haven't had hot water until about 2 hours ago. And it's also very, very windy outside because the UK has been hit by Storm Laura. And there's also a kid upstairs who seems to like to bounce on my ceiling for some reason. And by the way, I'm also sorry if you can see shiny bits here. I've just wiped down this table because there was a lot of paint over it. So hopefully that won't be too much of a problem once we start getting into the video, which we're going to move on to now. So even though the mum boiler decided to stop working this morning, it wasn't all that bad because look, it's Scrawlrbox time. So this is August's box. I can't pronounce my S's, I'm sorry. And yeah, I'm sorry if the box is a bit orange. Like there's a storm outside and the light is pretty dismal at the moment, so unfortunately we're all going to have to put up with it. If you don't know what Scrawlrbox is, Scrawlrbox is a monthly art subscription box here in the UK. I'm not sponsored and not affiliated, but I will leave a link in the description box below so you can check it out for yourself. So without further ado, let's see what we get this month. This has got to be my favourite part of the month because I have no idea what I'm getting, but there is a little twist and I will explain it in a minute. So, whoa! Now I wonder what my eye drew to first. Oh! Right, so we forget about that. First of all, we have our scrollers in. These things are amazing. They give you information about the materials that you're going to use. There's an interview with the featured artist, which we are going to find out in a minute, and there's like other additional information like hints and tips, and Scrawlrbox is willing to plant one tree for every box that's sold. Oh wow! Ooh, it's in a different shape. Normally it's a rectangle, but this time it is a square, and something tells me we're going to be using paints. Well, obviously because, you know, found that. So this one's featured artist is Bastian Marine, I think, aka Babtu, and there's their information. Ooh! I just noticed in box number 6C. This time last year it was the 50th box. So next we've got a mystery thing. I have no idea what this is quite yet. I will open them in a minute. Oh, well, it looks like you're getting 3 of whatever it is. And our sweet for the month is an absolute classic, the Anglo Bubbly. We used to have these as kids and it was just like, you know, and cheap and easy accessible and where you can get bubblegum. So it's like a UK staple. Right, so next we're on to our art supplies. Now, sorry I just knocked the camera. Now we get to find out what this is. Right, so first off is Daler Rowney, and it's heavy body acrylic. Oh wow, in lemon yellow. Now I've been painting with the Liquitex heavy body acrylic paint over the past few days and I absolutely love them at the moment. Yeah, at the moment. We'll soon see. I had it all over my table, hence why I can send there'll be shiny bits everywhere. So, I'd like to see how Daler Rowney fare. Right, and inside here, ooh, this is familiar. Well, not the design, but I've got something similar to this in one of the previous boxes. We had Cobra oil paints and we actually had one of these cards, and here you can see it says palette card. That's actually quite cool. The last one I had actual cut marks And honestly, this was a really good way of doing it, but I ended up sticking with the paintbrush that they gave us, so we'll be using this one as well. Here we have our destruction card, our Scrawlrbox sticker, which is beautiful as ever. I'm sorry, that was not meant to sound very sarcastic, but I really do love their stickers. And this is what I mentioned earlier. There's a change in the box, and it's because of COVID. One of the companies wasn't able to give the Scrawlrbox company the pencils that were needed for this month, so they moved September's pencil into August. So August pencil will be in September. They were very nice enough to give us an email, and they were very nice enough to give us this as well. So whatever pencil is in here and on there will be in next month's box. So carrying on, we have 2 more of these paints, and this time we've gone processed magenta and processed blue. So there's all 3 of our colours, and we will try them out later to see what they actually come out as. And then here's September's pencil in Faber-Castell, and it's a 2B. And last but not least, we've got a Pro Art Series 60 paintbrush. This is in a number 5. Anyway, moving on and see what this mystery pack is, and it's an artboard 3-pack, so I was right, there are 3 of them. So let's see, these artboards are perfect for your painting and mixed media needs. They are lightweight and sturdy and pre-primed, surface ready for direct paint application. They are hardware and media surfaces laminated with the optimum mixed media paper, ideal for all your artistic masterpieces. Right, and then with that, last but not least, this is our scroller challenge, facial topography. Right, I am going to have to do some research with that. And unfortunately, I'm none the brightest spark and I have no idea what that means. But I know facial means it's got something to do with the face, obviously. So I'm going to go and do some quick research and I'll get back to you. Well, hello in the new camera angle. Right, so now we're going to test out all of the supplies. So starting off first with the pencil. By the way, if the camera's rocking, I am very sorry. I am on a very uneven surface, so as you can see, it's just your normal pencil. By the way, I am using watercolour paper. It's just a bit of scrap really. So I'm going to start by putting tiny dollars on and start experimenting. So as you can see, those are the colours. The blue doesn't look like the same blues on there as I thought it would be. So this was the other card I was telling you about, and then I got last year, and that's the new one. So as you can see, they are both by Scrawlrbox, so I suppose in a way I'm not cheating. It's just that I'd rather use something cold instead of, you know, using a new one. And tell you what, then they're actually really good to work with, you know. So first off, we've got the yellow. Ooh, that's so bright. Ooh, very nice. Right, let's grip that off over there, as we can use that in a minute. Next, the magenta. I'm going to have to change the camera because the really is a little bit too rocky. There's the magenta, and just gonna mix this and see what colour we get. A really weird, almost like a reddish orange colour, right? And cyan. Again, a really nice colour, and why the hell not? Mix it all together, and then it's come out blue. Oh, that's an interesting pattern. I think that the whole point of these cards is to like replicate, you know, using a palette knife. It's just smaller and less bulky, it doesn't take up so much space. And you can use like green fan points. I've got paint on me, you can, and I've got it again. You can broaden your strokes, you know, shorten them like I did there, make smaller points. I actually really enjoyed using it. So apparently, according to the scroller thing, the colours that we get are actually meant to make a skin tone. You know, like equal amounts are meant to do one thing, then you just very different amounts to make different colours, you know, as you do in paint. So that's what I'm hoping to achieve. I don't know which one to use. No, I think I'll use the brush this time, so hopefully I've got equal amounts here. And you get a very, very dark green, which is the same as what I did over there, just without the very fancy pattern. And so now I'm going to try mixing two different colours together. So you've got yellow and magenta, magenta and blue and yellow, and see what colours we get out of that, because in art sorry, my voice is croaking a bit. So it's actually showing up as a really gross colour on camera, but I'd say it's like a pumpkin spice colour, which is quite nice. I don't know why my camera is making it look extremely red. Right, so I took the filter off. It was like an expressive filter, which made all of the colours pop and made it far too saturated. But now looking at the camera, this is you know, the actual thing is that little bit more nicer. So we're a little bit more closer to what it actually is in real life. You know, that is a really nice orange, and like I said, it's like a pumpkin orange. Now onto the blue and magenta. It's blue, the magenta just disappeared. Hold on. And added a bit more magenta. Now we're getting, well, it's like very dark, but we're getting a purple colour. Oh, there you go. If you add a bit more water, then that's the colour that you get. It's actually really nice. And that one is pretty much a perfect match on camera. So again, if you added more magenta, you can get more like a pinkish purple. On this one, I'm assuming that if you add more yellow, you're going to get a brighter orange. Again, it's just adjusting the colours. Right, so on to the last one, yellow and blue, and I wonder what that makes. Ooh, a very nice green. Ooh, that is really pretty. Unfortunately, the camera is not picking up that, and it looks gross on camera, but it's like I really don't know how to describe it, like an emerald green colour. Sorry, I can feel my voice cracking up. Right, and change the filter on my camera again. On camera it looks really muted, but honestly it's like a bright emerald. Yeah, I really have no idea what on earth is going on with my camera. So that's the results of today's experiment. So next we are going on to the actual piece. So I've been doing some extra swatches off camera just to see what I'm getting, and honestly I am not happy with what I got. And here I'm trying to mainly use in the lemon yellow and the magenta, and I kept getting all of these like yellowy, orangey, earthy tones. There really wasn't much to go on with. Then I tried doing like different purples, which turned out a little bit better, but there was only certain shades that I could get. And down here I tried putting in a bit of yellow in it, and it started turning out in like the earthy tones. And here obviously you can tell I've been trying to work on the greens, which turned out a lot nicer, and you know, and trying to think all of the bluish greens and more yellowy greens. and I put a tiny little bit of pink in that one. But yeah, as you can see, you know, I do get in some really beautiful and vibrant colours. The sort of like when there's unfortunately I'm not really much of an artistic person. I want to do art, I do it. But I just found them muted and a little bit too samey. So I don't have a plan going in on this. The problem with these colours, again, lies solely with what colour your main colours are. I mean, this is just my swatches from my watercolours, but the lemon yellow hue is like super bright. So if anything, I would have really loved to change that out to sort of like a cadmium yellow. I mean, depending on which ones that you choose for like your yellows, your blues, and even all of your pinks, and you know, it gives out a different colour, but I can say I think lemon yellow was a really bad choice for this. But you know, what do I know? I'm a novice at these things. So with that said, for my subject I wanted to do something a bit different, and my first thoughts when I read facial and topography, when, as you've seen earlier, it meant like a detailed map. Thoughts went to Katie Piper, not to be confused with Katie Price as I always do. There is a huge difference, or two. I've followed Katie Piper's story for years and I've been inspired since. Back in 2008, Katie Piper was a victim of a vicious acid attack by her ex-boyfriend and an accomplice, which left her with facial and neck burns, throat burns, and is blind in one eye. In 2009, she started a charity for awareness for burns victims and to try and get better access to treatment in Britain. Zahira started with my first layer of the blindingly bright lemon yellow. I couldn't use water to thin it out, it just sat on top of the paint. I then went in with a few coats of orange in various steps to get a better overall shadow. Again, as I mentioned, I would have loved to have a different yellow that wasn't so blinding. Perhaps it was more complimentary considering the magenta and blue was so dark. I suppose if you used a lot of oranges I did, it didn't turn out too bad. Here I started to have a lot of camera problems. I was intending on having like an arm of sorts on my tiny table, but it was all trial and error. If the picture shakes, it's attached to the table. If the camera slips, it's attached to my tripod. So you do see a bit of a crotch shot, so I'm very sorry about that. I really wanted to add textures, so I'm loading a lot of paints onto the piece of plastic with dark purple, and I went more expressive. It was about the magenta that my camera decided to die. I kept going back and forth in different areas just to try and balance things out a bit, but it kind of got until too weird when it got to trying to define the scars. Well, not so much as define, it's more like subtly hint, because... So yeah, that was a bit of a great adventure. Green, and then it just turned out to be this great mess. But hopefully someone reined it in from what it was and made it subtle enough to say, look, there is something there, but at the same time, there isn't. So here we go, this is the final outcome. I'm really pleased with how it came out. I love the vibrancy of the colours, despite the fact that I had problems with how bright and saturated the lemon yellow was. But looking at the colours and then you actually got, I think it was actually a good decision. Yes, I will eat my words for that. So I did have a lot of trial and error, especially when I tried to incorporate scars. It didn't exactly turn out well, but I'm hoping it's at least subtle enough to not be obvious. I did do the face mainly in the paintbrush, and then for the texture I used the card, which actually was very fun. I got different textures in the shadows, and then when I got the magenta on top, you know, it came down really flat because it is actually a smooth surface. Until partway through, when I realised there was a textured side. As you can see here, it is quite textured, so I don't know if that would have had an impact on getting better textures, but partway on the face when I realised, so I just decided to carry on and see what I could come up with, and again I'm actually really pleased with how it came out. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.